Hey guys, Kim here with Like Tesla. So I wanted to make a little bit of a follow-up video based on a video we made a couple weeks ago with our Model 3 where we had charged it to 100%, but it only showed the range as being 260 miles. But first, I want to tell you about something else I have been working on. I am launching our website. After 2 years, we're finally coming out with our website, www.liketeslakim.com. And on the website, we have all kinds of shirts that I've personally designed for men, women, and kids. They're all really cute, high quality. And there's also a couple blog entries on there I know you guys are going to be interested about. There are questions we get all the time, like how we make our videos and why we named our channel Like Tesla. It's not what you're thinking. It's not because we like Tesla. And there's also an entry on there about my other half and why he's not on camera. So make sure you go check out our website. And if you are a Patreon supporter, we are offering a discount on all the merch. So make sure you're signed up on Patreon. And all this goes into just supporting our channel. So thank you if you've used our code, if you've buy a t-shirt from us. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. So let's talk about batteries and Tesla's crazy stance on nightly charging habits. Do you guys recall recently we showed our long-range Model 3 that we've had for about 6 months. We've only driven around 11,000 miles, so we haven't gone too far in this car. It's still pretty new. That's not enough miles to cause this much of a significant battery degradation that it shows right here. Now keep in mind this car is rated at 310 miles and we've always kept it between 70 and 50%. This was the first time we had charged it to 100%. So we thought it might be an unbalanced battery pack, and many of you guys actually commented that you had similar charging habits and some of you had seen what we had seen. So we decided to go ahead and take it into Tesla, and that's exactly what we did last week. And what Tesla told us was not at all what we expected. They said it was actually because of our charging habits, and they had actually seen a lot of other customers with similar issues that had been charging between the 70 and 50%. They told us that the new recommendation is that everyone charges to 90% nightly, and that Tesla's unique battery cell chemistry doesn't result in any kind of extra degradation whether you charge to 90% or 70%. I called bull and brought up several sources that had actually stated otherwise. Both Elon and battery expert Dahn have previously said that both 80% and 70% are the ideal charging rates for battery longevity. But Tesla told us that those statements are outdated, especially with Model 3's new battery cell chemistry. So then they had to receive approval from Tesla headquarters to do a hard reset of the car, and only then did it come back with the numbers that you would expect to see from a new Model 3. They told us that we could reset it ourselves by just charging to 90% every night, and the numbers would gradually increase. So something else that we found interesting was that they told us that you should charge your car to 100% every 3 months or so, and then of course quickly drive it down past 90%, as fully charging is an important part of balancing out your battery. And the reason this is critical is because if your car is new and significantly miscalculating the range, it actually shows that your voltage is off and the car will shut down based on what it says the rated range is. They said that our car and everyone else that charges below 90 will eventually start to see some miscalculation with their voltage and capacity. In our case, our car thought that it only had 63 kilowatt hours of capacity to use, and it would actually shut down after 260 miles in order to save and preserve its battery. So they suggested that we not charge anything below 90%, and that is what all new customers are being told. I said I did not buy this theory, and they actually contacted a battery expert at HQ to confirm this. So I tweeted Elon about Tesla's stance on the best state of charge for battery longevity, and he actually got back to us. He recommended, quote, "Not worth going below 80% in my opinion, even 90% is still fine, and also no issues going to 5% or lower state of charge." And then when the Dahn 70% recommendation was brought up, he responded, quote, "Professor Dahn is correct, he's great, but the relative benefit is small. I'd recommend 10% more for convenience. Now I want to show you one of the most telling graphs and analysis on lithium-ion batteries and degradation as it relates to your charging habits.
This is a pretty simple graph that actually really shows why Elon says 90% is fine and is really not worth going below 80%. On the left here, we have the y-axis, and you see that that is the battery capacity retention of the lithium-ion cells through testing. Every one of these starts out with a brand new battery with 100% of battery capacity, and down here on the x-axis, we have the number of cycles the batteries have gone through. One cycle of the long-range Model 3 is 310 miles, but let's just go ahead and say 300 miles for the sake of simplicity. All these degradation tests are done at a mild 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit, sort of like San Diego climate. But if you are in a hotter Arizona or say Australia type of climate, of course the battery would be impacted a bit more than this particular study. Take a look at the extremes here. Take the black line, for example, where it assumes you charge to 100% every day and drive it all the way down to 25% SOC or state of charge. If you did that from day one and continued for about 1,000 cycles or about 300,000 miles, you would theoretically only lose about 10% of your capacity. So your retention is around 90% of your original 300 miles of range. And that's after abusing it for 300,000 miles. These are backed up by high mileage Teslas that only show 10 to 15% degradation after hundreds of thousands of miles.
So I watched a few speeches from Dahn, who is a battery expert, and he has been working on batteries since the 1970s and even worked on some of the current Tesla cells. And he's basically said that the degradation you see from 80 to 70% is so marginal that most people wouldn't even notice the gains even if they kept their car for hundreds of thousands of miles. So it also seems like the cells have enough of a buffer at the top and the bottom, so 90% is not actually 90% of the total energy in the battery pack, but probably something less. Well, from Elon's comment, it seems like they've also built some of that reserve into the bottom of the pack so that 5% could be more like 10% or more of the energy in the pack. So even if you've bricked the car and you've hit zero and it's completely turned off, it's actually saved some of that reserve to protect the battery, but that's not something that you could drive the car with. So from all this, I really want to know what your guys' thoughts are and what you think about charging to 90% and nothing less. And I want to know what you guys are seeing out there with your charging. What are you charging at with the mileage that you've had so far? Let us know in the comments below. I think this is a great place for us all to share that information and just continue to learn more about our batteries and our cars. And thank you guys again so much for watching. And for simplicity, here is what an accurate range should be of a long-range Model 3 at varying percentages.